Hi, welcome back to LeetCode. Today I'm going to discuss LeetCode problem 432 all 101 data structure. So design a data structure to store the strings count with the ability to return the strings with minimum and maximum counts. So we have to somehow to design a data structure that actually able to return the strings with the minimum frequency and the maximum. Like there are two functions, one for minimum that will return the minimum strings that actually present minimum times, and maximum function that will return the strings that actually present maximum times. Okay, now implement the all1 class. All1 initialize the object of the data structure that actually we have to store, or actually we are going to store, and inc increment string key increments the count of the input string key by 1. Okay, so if they will actually give a string, so if it is like if a key does not exist in the data structure, so insert it with count 1. So the input string actually we are first time saying that, so that time we have to actually initialize the frequency as 1, because first time we are seeing that. If it is already exists, suppose 2 times we have already seen this, so that time so third time we are currently seeing this current input string, so that time the frequency will be increased by 1 and it will be 3 that time, right? And similarly for decrement function, dec functions, the input string usually to decrement the count of the input string by 1. Okay, so if the frequency after decreasing, like suppose it is present only once, so frequency before that it will be before calling this function the frequency of that string will be 1. Now after calling this function the frequency will be 0 because it will decrease by 1. Now they are actually mentioned that if it is frequency 0, that time remove it from the data structure. Okay, it is guaranteed that key exists in the data structure before the decrement. So it is here that at least once the frequency will be at least once the input strings, right? After decrement it may be present or may be actually removed from the data structure. Now there is another function that get max key, so it will returns one of the keys with the maximal count. So suppose actually there are actually multiple input string are present with maximum frequency. Suppose lit present 4 times, okay, and code present 4 times again, and suppose weekly it is present suppose 3 times. So here actually what is the maximum frequency? Maximum frequency is actually 4, right? So if we call this function get max key, so it will return one of the keys with maximal count. So if we call this function max key, so what is the maximum frequency? 4. And which string actually it is actually have lit and code, both strings actually it have actually frequency as actually 4, right? So I can return any of this. Answer is possible lit or code, any one of these I can return. Okay, this is trying to say this actually here. Now similarly for get min key, so return one of the keys with the minimum count. Here actually if no element exists, return an empty string. Similarly for like before inserting all of this string, input string, lead, code and weekly, so initially our data structure will be empty because we have not inserted or deleted any actually input string. So that time if we call this function get max key or get min key, that time we have to return actually empty. Okay, that time. Suppose we have actually inserted this and our current data structure is this actually. This actually means lead frequency of lead actually 4, and code also frequency is 4, and quickly frequency actually 3. So if I call get max key, so I have actually already explained that I can return lead or code any one of these because both have actually frequency as 4 and both are actually maximum, frequency is maximum. Now if I call the get min key, that time what actually I have to return? I have to return actually weekly, because what is the minimum frequency? Minimum frequency is 3 here. So which strings will it have actually frequency 3? Weekly. So I can only return actually weekly. So that time our answer will be output of return value of this function will be get min key will be weekly, right? So here actually they actually mention one thing, that each function must run in big of 1 average time complexity. So like we have to design in such a way that it will take a constant time to actually input to call this function, any one of the function, inc, decrement and get max key or get min key. Okay, right? So you have to some actually take it actually sorted order or directly get the output. Like sorted order means like left will be on the front or right will be at the end. That time actually I can actually already decide that like I can actually take the decision that the minimum value actually present at the front and the maximum frequency strings is present at the end, right? So here actually you can check actually example 1. Okay, so what is the first of all we are actually initializing the data structure all one. Okay, now you are calling the inc function. So what is the input string? Input string is hello. So first time we are seeing this, so what I will do, I will just call, and first time we are seeing this, so the frequency will be 1, right? Next is we are calling again inc function with the again frequency input string is hello. So we will actually increase the frequency by 1, it will be actually 2. Now it is still 2. Now we are calling actually get max key. So what is the current for the data structure? So what is actually the maximum frequency here actually 2. So what will actually return get max key? It will return actually hello. So that time you can check actually the output will be hello here actually. Third time we are calling this, it is actually hello, right? Next time we are calling get mean key. So for the data structure, what is the minimum frequency? Again it is 2. 2 is the maximum and minimum both, because only one frequency is present. So again I will return actually hello. Got it? Now we are calling again inc function. So here actually what I am calling input string is lit. So first time we are seeing lit. So the frequency of this will be 1. Okay. Now we are calling the get max key again. So what is the maximum frequency? Maximum frequency is 2. And what is the string actually frequency is 2? Which string actually its frequency is 2? Hello. So I have to return actually hello here. Got it? Now we are calling get mean key. So what is the minimum frequency? 1. Between 1 and 2 minimum frequency is 1. So what is the string actually? It actually frequency is 1, lit. So I have to return lit here actually. Got it? Actually getting lit here. Understood, right? So now first of all, what actually operation I can do? First operation I can actually do actually inc here, right? Increment or decrement, right? So this actually what actually doing, particularly for any string I have to decrease or increase the frequency of the particular input string. So that time what actually I have to somehow we have to store the frequency of the particular input string. Like first time we have seen this current input string, or it is already exist in our data structure. So that we have to store. So suppose in what actually I can store actually this frequency of this in map actually I can actually store directly. So like here actually first time if this input string is present in the map, so that means I have already seen this. So I will actually decrease or increase the frequency of that. If it is first time not present in the map, that means what? I have seen this input string first time. So that time what I will do? I will just actually insert this into our map input string key as frequency is 1. Got it? And for decrement it is not possible. They already mentioned that the frequency will be at least 1 before calling this decrement function, right? So it should be present in the map. Now what is the another function we can actually call get mean key and get max key. So what actually it will actually do particularly what actually internally it is doing actually. So for any frequency we have to find out that maximum frequency or minimum frequency, right? We will find out this, what is the maximum frequency and what is the minimum frequency. Then I will check which actually strings actually have the maximum frequency and which string actually have the minimum frequency, right? So here actually what I have to check. So somehow in sorted order I will actually store this with according to the against the frequency. Like I will store which string actually have frequency 2. Oh, okay. Suppose lit and code. Okay. In this actually we will store this. That which actually string actually like frequency 2. What is the frequency against frequency? Which string actually have that? I will like it will be the key will be the frequency particularly, and the value will be the vector of strings. Like which string actually it have actually frequency. Okay. So if we store in the sorted order, like first of all if I store this at the front, that which string actually have the frequency as 1. Okay, then I'll store which strings actually have the frequency 2. Then I'll store the 3 in this way. Then whenever we want actually get min key, suppose that time we will go to the actually this index. This index means the first non-empty actually the index which actually have some actual string against the frequency, right, from the front actually. And whenever we actually need the get max key, that time we will come from the actually end, like whichever actually non-empty actually index actually I have or frequency, that actually or give us the actually the input answer string, any one of this, because there can be actually single input strings project or also multiple, more than one, right? Got it? Understood the logic? So if I use here actually, you can check actually, if I use the map actually what actually ordered map, so it will actually sorted order, left to right actually to sorted. So if I call the actually front, that actually give the actually minimum frequency, and end it will return actually maximum frequency, right? So just go to the code. I think it is logically it is understood, right? If it is clear, please like the video, and if you are not yet subscribed, please subscribe the channel. Okay, now go to actually code. You can actually also try to implement, then actually can actually check the actually code actually. I will also share the actually code in the actually description. You can check also. Okay, now the code actually, what actually the code. So what is it doing? First of all, this actually taken another map. Why actually another map here actually? Because frequent here actually what actually storing input string and the integer. What actually storing actually particularly storing the frequency of each string, like whatever the input string and the frequency. Got it? Then we have taken an ordered map. Why ordered map? Because here actually storing the frequency first, then the unordered set of string. Like here actually storing against the frequency, we are storing the vector of strings actually that have actually that frequency. Got it? And here actually you are using the ordered map. I have already explained why actually I am using the ordered map here, because it will actually store in the sorted order. So it will help us, like whenever we get calling the get min function, we will get from the front, and whenever we got the get max function, we will get from the end, right? And here actually for storing the frequency of particular string, that we are using the unordered map, because here actually order doesn't matter. We will check that particular input string actually present or not. If it is present, what is the previous frequency, that will be increased by 1. If it is if it is a situation of decrement function, that time actually just decrease the frequency. If it is 0, that time delete from the count function, right? So all one function actually just we are not doing anything. So now actually come to the increment function. We'll get the input string. Okay, so I will actually, what I'll do, I will actually do like first this input this map that actually storing the frequency of each string. So that time actually increase the frequency by 1 plus. Okay, so if it is greater than 0, that means what? I have to, like first time I was saying that greater than 0 means what? It actually count will be 0. First time saying, right? This is actually the post increment plus post increment. So first order return 0, because this is, suppose first time we are saying this, so it is not present before that, so count will be 0. Okay, 0 means what? We here actually this frequency map also does not have that. But if it is greater than 0, means we are seeing the second time, third time, like more than one time. Okay, that time what will happen? The frequency will be, count will be greater than 0. That time it already stored in some frequency. So that time we have to adjust that. Means what? We have to delete that from that frequency against that frequency. So that's why I will just go to the previous frequency, that old frequency that I actually have, and against that frequency I will erase the particular key, the input string. I will erase from there. Now actually what I have done actually, I actually old frequency I have deleted this, right? This is count actually old frequency, and I have deleted this in the particular that old frequency. And now we have to store this into the against the new frequency. So that's why frequency of the count plus 1, that will actually be the current frequency. Current count means the old frequency plus 1, this will give the new frequency. So that time what is it doing? That particular new frequency we are storing in the frequency map, and we are inserting the current input string. Okay, right? And what I have to do, if that particular old frequency have only one element, particularly suppose this input string only one present, suppose lead only present at the 1. Okay, again we are calling the lead, so it will be frequency 2. So against 1, that there will be only one actually string was present lead. So I have already deleted lead from here actually in this line, right? But frequency 1 is actually I have already deleted. But if we check what is the minimum frequency, that time it will actually return actually 1. But actually 1 actually do not have any input string. So that time I have to also deleted this. So I'll check if that old frequency, that old frequency is empty. The second value is actually empty. This actually empty string set actually empty. That time also delete that current frequency also. Right? Frequency dot erase current count means 1 will be also deleted from the frequency map. Okay. Now it is only have actually 2. Right? I've all 2 as I've already inserted here actually new frequency. Against 2, it actually have lead in the set. Okay. And 1 I actually deleted here because actually one only element, only one lead is present, only one string is present, and I have deleted lead here actually, lead deleted here from frequency 1. Okay, and the frequency 1 is deleted from this line because only one lead was present. Currently this is also deleted from frequency 1, so that's why I will deleting this. Now here also I have already I have also added this, what is the current frequency of the input string in the count map. Okay, here actually I have already checked that. Okay, now this is the second function, is decrement function. What I will get an input string, I have to decrease the frequency of that. So first of all check the what is the old frequency. This actually give the old frequency. Old frequency greater than 0 means what? We have that actually already present in some frequency. That time I have to also delete it from the old frequency, means here actually same way. Suppose we are calling this lead function, decrement function with lead, input string is lead. So lead is current lead frequency is 2, and against 2 frequency we are storing a string lead. Right? Now we are calling decrement function. So what will do? The frequency will be first of all decreased by 1. It will be currently 1. Currently it will be 1. Right? Now the frequency actually, so ultimately what? In frequency 2 there is no actually lead actually present. The frequency of lead actually currently 1. So I'll delete from lead here actually. So that's why if it count greater than 0 means what? It is already present there. So I will just particular delete, I will delete lead here. So frequency, that old frequency 2, I will erase that particular key lead. So lead is not present in the input frequency 2. Okay. If count is equal to 1, that means what? Count is equal to what means what? Because only once actually that actually input string actually present. Suppose code I actually have seen only once. So if I decrement this, call this function decrement, so that time what will happen? It will actually frequency will decrease by 1, it will ultimately 0, and this will be ultimately delete from the actually frequency map. They actually mention that if the frequency is 0, that time delete that string from the data structure, right? So that's why I am checking. If the old frequency is 1, that time from count map also delete that, right? Else that means what? It is more than 1 actually present. Suppose here actually it is present more than once, that lead, right? More than 1 actually twice, actually previously it is present twice. So currently it is present once. So that time I will just count minus 1, it will be 1, 2 minus 1. I will insert the key frequency. So against 1 it will store actually now lead. Okay. Now what I have to do? I have to delete also the 2 also. I have to check that any other actually input string is present or not as frequency 2. If it is, there is no any other string present at the frequency 2, that time I also delete the frequency 2 also. So that time checking if the old frequency of 2 is empty, that means there is no string against frequency 2. That time I also delete 2. Got it? I have deleted 2. This actually ultimately both are deleted. Only one lead actually present. Got it? It is clear, right? Right? Now this is clear for decrement function and increment function. Like similarly, we are actually handling this. So first time we are actually what are doing? Whenever decrement, increment. So first time we are seeing this. That time we actually insert the frequency map first time, right? And seeing the second time or more than one time. That time what do you adjust this? First of all, delete from the old frequency, then insert into the new frequency, right? This is the old frequency against, and this is the new. So I will delete this from here actually and insert this here. Okay. Now if the old frequency map actually, if it is present only one string before that, so that time what will happen? There is no actually string as frequency, old frequency. That time I have to delete this also, right? Similarly for the decrement case also it will be same. Got it? Now there is another function get max key. What it will do? It will return the string with maximum frequency, present with the maximum frequency, right? So suppose our what I will store, suppose two actually I have stored actually leet and code, okay, and another actually string actually present with frequency 1 as suppose weekly, okay. So and this is for the our map is actually this map actually called we actually here actually name is frequency, right? And another map actually is count actually what it store? It will store actually leet actually present twice, code actually present twice, and weekly it present once, right? So this is actually the actual data structure. Currently it is actually state of our data structure, right? Now we are calling this get max key function. So what actually return? It will return any of this, leet or code, any one of this, because both are actually valid, both frequency is maximum. So what I'll do, I will check our frequency map actually empty. There is mention if our frequency map is empty, that time I have to return the empty string, right? Else what will return? I have to return this map actually sorted. So rightmost, that's why R begin, that actually go to the actually rightmost position, and the second begin. So it will return actually the leet, any one of this is present set. So it will actually return the sorted. We cannot return any of this, okay, randomly. And if it is called the get min key function, so it will do, I will go to from the front. Got it? That's why I am here actually I am calling this function with the begin. Begin means the left to right. R begins means the from the right to left. So R begin means the rightmost actually the position, or it's a non-empty. So that time actually that position I have to return the second dot begin. Okay. Similarly for the begin means from left to right first position, non-empty position I will return the any one of the strings. So here it will be weekly because only one string is present. Understood? Clear it is? If you have any doubt, you will comment on this. I actually surely I will reply. Thank you. Please like the video and subscribe the channel.